Good evening, viewers. You're tuned in to ICRT, keeping you informed.
ICRT!
Tsunamis at coastal areas of Russia's Kuril Islands and Japan's large northern island of Hokkaido. That's after a powerful 8.8 magnitude earthquake struck off the coast of Russia earlier today. Warnings in place also for Alaska, Hawaii, and other coasts south towards New Zealand. The Japan Meteorological Agency says a tsunami as high as 40 centimeters was detected in 16 locations as the waves moved south along the Pacific coast. Officials are urging caution, saying bigger waves could come later. Damage and evacuations reported in the Russian regions nearest the quake epicenter on the Kamchatka Peninsula. Multiple aftershocks as strong as 6.9 magnitude have been recorded. Russia's TASS news agency reported power outages and mobile phone service failures. TASS also quoted a local Russian official saying residents on Sakhalin Island were being evacuated and emergency services were working at full capacity. We'll have more on this story as it develops.
Tsunami. Magnitude. Epicenter. Aftershock. Evacuation. Outage. Emergency services.
The Central Election Commission says the government doesn't have to submit an opinion for the upcoming referendum on restarting Taiwan's third nuclear power plant. This comes after Taiwan People's Party Chair Huang Guochang criticized the lack of a government statement in the official referendum bulletin. The CEC explains that under the Referendum Act, the Cabinet is generally not obligated to provide a formal opinion on a referendum bulletin if the referendum is initiated by the Legislative Yuan, which in this case it was. The vote will ask eligible voters whether they agree that Taiwan's third nuclear power plant should resume operations if deemed safe by the competent authority. All citizens aged 18 and over can cast their ballots on August 23rd.
Referendum. Submit. Obligated. Resume. Eligible. Ballot.
A Cold Stone Creamery Taiwan shop in Taichung has been ordered to suspend operations. That's after 4 individuals mistakenly drank bleach earlier this week. The Taichung Office of Food and Drug Safety said in a statement that 2 of the 4 individuals, that's a male customer in his 40s and a female employee in her 20s, received medical treatment and were discharged the same day. The shop allegedly violated the Act governing food safety and sanitation, under which those responsible could face prison terms of 1 to 7 years and fines of up to 10 million NT. The company attributed the incident to mishandling at a single outlet, saying it's contacted those affected and offered follow-up support.
Suspend. Bleach. Treatment. Violate. Mishandling. Outlet.
Leading contract electronics makers Winstron and Inventec have received approval from the Ministry of Economic Affairs to invest in new server facilities in Texas, strengthening their U.S. presence. Winstron will invest $455 million to acquire a plant through its U.S. subsidiary and begin producing AI servers early next year, while Inventec plans an $85 million investment to build its own server factory to serve American clients. The ministry also approved other major foreign investments Tuesday, including smartphone brand HTC investing in its subsidiary and Yuanda Financial Holding expanding into South Korea. In addition, the MOEA has approved a plan by Mitsui OSK Lines Limited to invest about 6.64 billion NT in Taiwan's offshore wind energy sector. As for China-bound investments, the MOEA said printed circuit board maker Unimicron Technology Corporation has secured approval to spend $20 million to raise the amount of capital in its subsidiary in Kunshan to expand production capacity.
Subsidiary. Acquire. Facility. Investment. Expand. Offshore. Capacity.
Australia says it will include YouTube in its world-first ban on social media for teenagers. The decision reverses an earlier one to exempt the video-sharing platform and comes after research found 37% of children aged 10 to 15 reported seeing harmful content on the platform. That's the most of any social media site. Other social media companies such as Meta's Facebook and Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok argue an exemption for YouTube would be unfair. Social media firms will be fined up to $32.2 million from December if they break the law, which passed through Parliament in November. YouTube spokesperson said the company would consider next steps and would continue to engage with the government.
Ban. Exempt. Harmful. Unfair. Fine. Engage.
The Agency of Rural Development and Soil and Water Conservation has issued 201 landslide warnings for areas in Chiayi, Tainan, Kaohsiung and Pingdong as heavy rains have been battering the south. According to the agency, the 201 warnings include both red and yellow alerts. A total of 29 red landslide alerts have been issued, and they cover a total of 9 villages and 4 townships in Chiayi, Tainan and Kaohsiung. 172 yellow landslides alerts have been issued, and they cover 16 townships and 70 villages in Chiayi, Tainan, Kaohsiung and Pingdong, while 5 large-scale yellow alerts for landslides have been issued, covering 4 townships and 5 villages located in Kaohsiung and Pingdong, and local governments in those areas have been advised to issue evacuation orders for them.
Landslide. Alert. Batter. Evacuation. Issue. Township.
The National Housing and Urban Regeneration Center says 5 government-sponsored social housing projects will soon be available for rent. It says applications for the first wave will open on August 8th, with 5% of the units reserved for newlywed and family households. The center says over 1,500 social housing units will be available, including the island's first social housing project built exclusively for frontline police, firefighters, and Coast Guard personnel near Jinpeng MRT station in New Taipei. Lease terms for all of the projects vary from 6 to 12 years, depending on the applicant's status. The center's chairman says construction of social housing serves as urban development, providing a better living environment for the public.
Application. Reserve. Unit. Exclusively. Lease. Urban.
The central bank has announced flexible new rules regarding bounce checks, i.e. those that can't be cashed because there isn't enough money in the account. For today and tomorrow, if a bounce check is covered or paid on the next business day, it will not be recorded or incur any fees. And this applies so long as the funds aren't withdrawn again too quickly. In addition, check issuers affected by heavy rain in southern Taiwan can apply for a special major disaster designation by submitting proof of their losses. If approved, any checks with insufficient funds within the next 6 months will not lead to blacklisting, and records won't be made public as long as the checks are settled in time. The central bank added that if the heavy rain continues to disrupt operations in southern Taiwan beyond today, these measures will remain in effect.
Bounce check. Incur. Issuer. Designation. Blacklist. Settle. Disrupt.
National Taiwan Normal University has dismissed a women's soccer coach over a blood draw scandal and barred her from teaching for 4 years. Coach Zhou Tai-ying faced accusations of threatening student-athletes with academic credit penalties to coerce them into doing blood draws for research. The move follows widespread criticism after the university initially decided not to dismiss Zhou, despite findings by its campus anti-bullying committee that she had bullied students. The university initially issued lighter penalties, including a freeze on salary increases, and that sparked public backlash. Under pressure from the Ministry of Education, NTNU initiated a full internal review and came to today's decision. The ministry says it will process the decision once it receives the university's formal report. It also clarified that since Zhou, age 62, is no longer an active faculty member, she can't apply for retirement benefits or receive a pension.
Dismiss. Scandal. Coerce. Bully. View. Backlash. Review. Pension.
More than 100,000 people have fled the bloodiest border fighting between Thailand and Cambodia in a decade, as the death toll rises to 14, 13 civilians and 1 soldier. A long-running border dispute erupted into intense fighting with jets, artillery, tanks, and ground troops on Thursday, and the United Nations Security Council is set to hold an emergency meeting on the crisis later today.
Flee. Border. Dispute. Artillery. Tank. Emergency.
The American Institute in Taiwan has taken to social media to say that the US and Taiwan are discussing possible spaceport cooperation. According to AIT, on a posting made on Facebook, space cooperation has been expanding from the past to the present and into the future, including possible spaceport cooperation, which is awaiting for further evaluation and discussion for the future. The post says that if suborbital flights were used, travel time between Taipei and Houston could be shortened to as little as 2.5 hours. And the potential cooperation could initially focus on unmanned cargo missions, and as the technology matures, manned flights could also be considered in the future. The post on Facebook goes on to say that the concept highlights Taiwan's potential for space innovation and also makes the deep scientific and technological partnership between the US and Taiwan. Houston's Ellington Airport already has a legal spaceport license.
Spaceport. Cooperation. Suborbital. Unmanned. Mature. Innovation. Partnership.
A monkey has been praised as being well-mannered for its courteous nature. That's after it was caught on camera pilfering a tea egg from an office on Wuling Farm in a mansion as part of Taichung on Tuesday and then eating it. The monkey was given its due by workers as video showed it closing the window as it entered from before fleeing the scene, displaying the highly intelligent nature of wild animals. Farm workers say the monkey was caught on video and he was one of the few loners and was highly cautious and alert while searching for food in a human area. The sighting of a monkey is not unusual, but troops of monkeys now rarely appear in the open within the farm due to long-term initiatives such as driving them away, managing the environment, and raising public awareness. The farm's reminding visitors that monkeys are wild animals and humans should not feed them or get too close to them. While visiting mountain areas, personal items and food should also be packed properly to avoid attracting wildlife.
Courteous. Pilfer. Flee. Cautious. Alert. Initiative. Wildlife.
Indian police have arrested a man accused of running a fake embassy from a rented building near New Delhi. Authorities say the suspected posed as an ambassador, promising overseas jobs and scamming people for money. Police recovered fake diplomatic plates, forged seals from India's foreign ministry and other nations, and doctored photos of the man with world leaders. Officers also seized 4 cars, international flags, and over $52,000 in cash, including foreign currencies. The suspect is facing charges of forgery, impersonation, and money laundering through shell companies.
Fake. Embassy. Suspect. Forgery. Impersonation. Seize. Laundering.
Looking for the hottest music and exciting updates? Follow ICRT on YouTube and all social media!